Seeing farmers online right now losing their minds over Donald Trump importing 330,000 metric tons of ground beef is absolute movie gold. Karma is starting to creep into all of these dumbasses that voted for Donald Trump. And for you farmers, you are dumbasses, because in his first administration, he started a trade war with China. Remember that? And then all of you hillbillies out there went, oh, please, can we have money to bail us out because we voted for a dumbass? I'm against socialism. I hate it. It's bad. But just give me $30 billion, please. Just this once. Just for me. And you went, and 90% of you dumbasses voted for him again. You saw January 6th. You watched him sit on his fat ass and beat the shit out of officers. You knew he was a rapist. You knew he was a felon. You knew he cheated on his wives. You knew all of it, and you still voted for him again. Have the day you voted for. What are you pissed off about? You thought a convicted felon was going to keep his word and uphold law and order? You cannot be that stupid. How much horse manure are you people smelling? You're idiots. I have no sympathy for you. Because this is the same thing when 40,000 people die from gun violence. You know what you say? It's not the guns, it's mental health. So I'm going to say the same thing to you, dumbass farmers. All 90% of you idiots that voted for him again. It's not the ground beef, it's mental health. Feels pretty stupid, doesn't it? Yeah, it is. Because you said, I don't give a shit about anybody else as long as I'm promised something in my bank account. And that's the high school syndrome, where there's so many people in this country that really don't give a shit about anybody else except for me. They're like horse with blinders on. And what's happening here to farmers and these ranchers, it has to happen. The only way that his little cult is going to break is when he craps on them one by one by one. When the cruelty that they vote on everybody else comes on their front door. And this tweet summarizes it. I ranch with my 85-year-old dad, who's been a diehard Trump fan. Whenever I criticize any Trump decision, even slightly, he'll get personally offended and won't want to talk about it. So I've avoided voicing my disdain over his attacks on Massey, spending, the Attorney General, etc. when my dad is in the room. Today, however, after the beef import announcement, Dad shook his head sadly and said, I really don't think he gives a damn about anyone who isn't rich. And sure not about ranchers. Never wanted to believe that until today. There wasn't a more stalwart Trump supporter on the planet. Trump is losing the room. This is how Benito Mussolini fell out of power. This is what I've been talking about. The only way selfish people in this country that don't give a damn, that just see their vote as a checkmark, not as affecting people in this country, is when they suffer. And I have 0% empathy for any of you. Because my red line was voting for a president who was found liable for sexually assaulting a woman. It's disgusting. I don't give a shit if Donald Trump promised me a 50% increase in my paycheck. I don't care if he said no taxes. You ranchers and all of you MAGA white trash out there didn't give two shits about morality or decency or integrity. You're dumbasses. You want to own the libs, and you couldn't vote for the black woman. Tell me, why didn't you like Kamala Harris? Just curious. She wasn't a convicted felon. She's not a rapist. She's not on the Epstein files. She didn't make fun of our soldiers and call them suckers and losers. She didn't cause an insurrection. She didn't look at 15-year-olds naked in locker rooms. She's not having dinner with white supremacists. She didn't post memes of Barack Obama as monkeys. She didn't blow up and murder 170 schoolgirls in Iran. The man you voted for did, because you couldn't vote for it. And I don't give a damn. I am going to get the largest bucket of popcorn, and every time one of you idiots that voted for this, I'm going to sit back and say thoughts and prayers. because you had no compassion for anybody else, but you only cared when it affected you. And that you're like little children. Don't touch the stove. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. Don't touch the stove, it's hot. And you idiots have to touch the stove. You firsthand have to see the cruelty of what you voted for because you don't care. That's why I did this. And that's why when people ask me, Paul, why are you so mad? This is why I'm mad. Because the majority of you ranchers are fake-ass Christians. You think because you sit in church and you have a gold cross and you wear a Bible and put Bible scriptures that makes you a person of faith. You tell me, ranchers, which of those things that I just mentioned you think Jesus would have voted for? You think Jesus would have voted for the rapist and the felon? Or the black woman who wanted universal health care? Who wanted to increase minimum wage? Who wanted gun reform so our kids aren't scared and being murdered in schools? Who wants to tax rich people to help with social programs? To help people get out of student loan debts? Gee, I wonder, it must be really hard because you couldn't vote for the black woman. Good. Good. This is good. Suffer. Thoughts and prayers. You're not getting empathy from people. I didn't want this to happen. I voted for you to have universal health care. I voted for you to get more pay, but you couldn't vote for the black woman. So have the day you voted for. I don't know what you're upset about. But what you really thought was you liked the racism. And Donald Trump, just like Hitler and Mussolini, blamed brown people because that in its core is what a lot of you little hillbilly ranchers voted for. You work hard in the fields, but you're racists. And you were scared that the dirty brown people were taking your jobs. And now, the white supremacist is the one that's taking your jobs from Venezuela and putting you out of business. Have yourself a white day. Thoughts and prayers, MAGA.